What's good, everybody? It's your girl Amanda Speaks, and I'm coming back to you with another video. What's good, Mandy Squad? So first of all, if you're new to my channel, welcome. What's good? What's up? Hope you're doing fine. Just hit that subscribe button and hit that bell button, because you're not gonna want to miss any other video. And all we do over here, we are all about truth, transparency, and just being ourselves. So without further ado, let's get into this video. So guys, it's the first episode, the first whatever you want to call it of the series Level Up, Level Up, Level Up. Anyway, so it's the first episode, and I'm happy that you're here to join me, and I hope you enjoy this video. And if you like this video, if you want me to do more series or anything, just like that button, click that like button, and let me know in the comments. So today's topic is validation or value. So first of all, I want to just say to us to stop trying to live up to people's expectation and not ours, because that can be very detrimental. You're so focused on trying to please them, you forget about yourself, you lose yourself. So the first question we need to ask ourselves is what I'm doing for the validation of others? Or is it because I love myself, I know my worth, I'm doing what I love, and I know I have to offer, I know the value of what I have to offer? So if the answer for you is validation, we need to ask ourselves, why do I feel the need for validation? Who do I want validation from? Because oftentimes we tend to say that we change, or we've changed our ways, or we've changed our lifestyle to try and fit into this crowd, to try and fit in with this person, and we change what we like, we change what we want to do, where we want to go, when we want to go there, but we've not really changed, we've just adjusted. And because of this adjustment, it leaves us with this emptiness inside. It leaves us feeling as though there's something missing. We're not really being true to ourselves. We're not being honest enough with ourselves to say that this is not what I want. I mean, there are characteristics and there are traits that I like, but this is not who I am in totality, right? So the meaning of validation, for one, is to prove the accuracy of something. And if we're proving the accuracy of something, we need to know about it. What happens sometimes is that we don't know enough about ourselves. So we're not aware of some of the things we like. We're not aware of some of the flaws or some of the insecurities that we hold to ourselves. We're not aware that we have been telling ourselves a lie, right? And we tend to just go with the flow. We tend to go with what people say. But also, validation stems from rejection, which is the opposite of validation. So somebody rejects you, somebody disapproves of what you're doing or who you're around or anything. And because of fear of being alone, fear of being separated, fear of standing alone, standing by yourself, standing out, we just give into the validation because we're like, it's not gonna make sense. I have a need for people's approval. I have a need to fit in. I have a need to be in this category, this class, this group. I have a need to be validated. Also, if we're going from the meaning of validation, if validation means to prove the accuracy of something, why do we need validation? Because we're never really reflecting our true self. We're never really being accurate with the personality, with whoever we are, to the person we want to get the validation from, because we try to change things about ourselves that we might not even really want to change, but because we want to be liked, we want to be accepted, we even want that promotion. Don't think we don't adjust ourselves because we're in a job. We do, because we want that position, we want that promotion, we want to be recognized. However, people want authenticity. People want genuine people who, no matter what, they'll stick to their identity. There's a difference between adjusting and adapting. Adapting can mean you're in an environment, you're around a certain people, you can get used to the way they do their things, but you still maintain your identity. You still maintain the foundation that you grew up on. However, adjusting can mean that you change who you are, who you knew yourself to be, to fit into a certain category, to fit into a certain stigma, to fit into a certain stereotype. It doesn't matter what it is, right? Okay, let me correct myself real quick. Adjusting wasn't even the word. Adjusting and adapting, I don't think was the word I was supposed to be using, but more of adjusting or adapting versus conformity, in the sense where you can conform so much that you change who you are and you forget your own identity. So when you hear adjusting and adapting, just think of conforming instead. So adjusting and adapting versus conforming. Sorry guys. So also validation can come from admiration and reflection. By reflection, I mean the person you're admiring. Yes, you like how they are, you like what they're doing, you like some traits in them, but they're like a mirror to you, reflecting your weaknesses, reflecting what you think is a limitation, things you can't do. They're a reflection to you, so you feel as though you need to be validated by them. So you feel farther away from the weakness that you have or the limitation that you have, because you're close or you're partnering with somebody that has it. So it feels as though automatically you have it because you are validated by that person. You are close to that person or people. It can be more than one. So just like how validation can be a bad thing, it can also be a good thing. It can be a motivational factor. It can be a way of you identifying your flaws without even saying anything to anybody. But you can realize that is a weak spot, or a weak area in your life. And instead of just identifying it and moping about it, you fix it. You work on it. You do your best. You give it your 100% to work on yourself and make yourself better. Also, it is important to have internal validation so that when external validation comes, it won't be validation, but it'll be reassurance, because you already know that. You already have identified that with yourself. You've come to that conclusion, and you're already praising yourself, not being vain, but you're already praising yourself for the goal that you have set and you have achieved it. So when somebody commends you, say, it's not even just insecurity. Well, I'm going to use that as an example, in the sense where somebody might walk up to you and like, you look really pretty today, you look beautiful. And guys, instead of you saying, I know, right? You can just say thank you. There's nothing wrong with still taking a compliment. It's just like, it's not something that's going to swell your head and be like, oh my god, she thinks I'm pretty, oh my god, he thinks I'm cute, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. No, it's going to be, I know inside already that I'm beautiful, but thank you for noticing as well. So I'm not going to just leave you guys hanging. I might be looking down now because I made some notes from what I'm going to give you now. And it is from the top 10 ways to stop seeking approval. Technically, top 10 ways to be successful, and this was by Ed Milet. I was watching a video on some of the points he gave for being successful, and I think some of the points he gave were really helpful as to what I'm speaking about. So I'm going to give you, as I said, I might be looking down, so I'm going to give you the points, but I also made notes for myself and kind of to tie it in with how it will relate to what I'm talking about. So the first point was take control of the script of your life. So first of all, as I said before, you need to be in tune with who you are. You need to identify your flaws, your fears, your insecurities, and you need to work on them. Work on how to get better. Work on how to improve yourself mentally, spiritually, physically, because one of the things he spoke about is that everything starts kind of physically, if you get what I mean, in the sense where you do things to feel better. So your body, if you just sit down and mope and just lie in bed and blah blah blah, you're gonna feel sad. You're gonna just be like, But if you get up, you work out, you do some physical activity, whether it's to play, go to the gym, anything, it automatically makes you feel better about yourself. It makes you feel good, and not to mention the results, but it makes you feel good. Don't depend on what other people are doing unless you plan to get advice from them. So don't be watching this person, that person achieving stuff or doing this, doing that, and not focusing on you, not focusing on what you have to do, not focusing on your responsibilities. unless you're going to ask them for advice, unless you're going to, when you're watching them, you're learning at the same time. So you're not just sitting down and watching them and grudging them, but you're watching what they do to learn for yourself. Point 2, be fueled by pain. I don't know about you, but when I heard this, I'm like, what? How is pain good? So that kind of just went through my mind. But what I wrote down was, allow yourself to feel the magnitude of the pain or the disappointments that will eventually push you and to change who you are now. So don't try to avoid it or pretty it up. You know, like some people, them fat, them overweight, or you have those people who, them just lazy. Honest to God, if you can be really honest with yourself, them just lazy. But they try to pretty it up and be like, no, you know, I'm doing this, or I'm saving energy, or they do everything to kind of pretty it up. Like, I'm horrible on examples right now, but yeah. So basically, don't become immune and comfortable. Don't become don't become contented. I hope that's the word. Don't become contented with what? Don't become content. What? With what you have in life. With where you are in life at the moment. There's always more you can do. There's always greater. There's always better. People never stop learning, no matter which age you be. People never stop learning. So don't make up excuses for your flaws. Don't make up excuses for your, I don't want to say limitation, but your bad traits, your bad habits. Don't make up excuses for being lazy. If you want to be successful, if you want to reap success, you have to put in the hard work at some point, even if it takes a while and then it becomes a habit. So therefore, in my opinion, stop accepting the self-pity. If you have not watched my video on build your case, I recommend you go watch it. I will leave it somewhere up the top, but you should go watch it. It's a really good video, and I spoke about other things that we're supposed to do in order to build our case and to make ourselves better. So that's 1. 2, stop surrounding yourself all the time with people who don't want to elevate, people who are stagnant. They don't have any interest, or even if they do, they only say it, but there's no action to back up what they're saying. Or they compare your situation with somebody else, saying it's not as bad as so and so. The third point is, stop worrying about what others think. It's not always about proving people wrong. Yes, it might be a motivational factor for a while, but after you've achieved that goal, what more? If you're always working to prove people wrong, yes, people always have something to say. But if you had a set goal, if you had something in mind, say, I'm going to prove these people wrong, I'm going to prove these people that I can be successful. When you get successful, what's the next step? You've already passed that goal. So here's what he said. He said that the irony of worrying about what other people think of you is that those people will never be thought about after they die. People who are obsessed with what people think of them never truly fulfill their purpose. And I don't know about anybody else, but that's one of, I guess I'd say, my fears, in the sense where I live my life and miss my mark. I don't want to live my life and miss what I was really supposed to do, fulfill my purpose in this life. So yeah. And then the fourth one that I made was always give your all. And just as I said before, if you're going to change yourself, if you're going to make yourself better, if you're going to identify your flaws, identify your insecurities, give it your all. Don't give it 50, don't give it, a little 40, don't give it like even an 80. Give it your full 100. Give it your all, because you'll reap the benefits after. So the fifth one was to overcome difficulties. So as I said before, you have to face your flaws, you have to face your insecurities, you have to face your fears. But the thing about it is that it's not going to be easy. And we all know that. It's not going to be easy, but that doesn't mean we should give up. The sixth point was keep the promise you make to you. And for me, I've always just said you can make daily to-do lists, daily goals, weekly goals, because it's good to appreciate how far you've come. It's good to appreciate the things you've accomplished, even if it's small, even if it's big. You have to be proud of yourself first. You have to be your number one supporter before anybody else can support you. Right? And what I have as my 7th point, I stopped at my 7th point because not everything he said spoke to what I wanted to speak on. Yeah. So The 7th point was defeat fears and insecurities. So as I said before, and I just realized that I said it, is don't just acknowledge them. Don't just say, oh, this is how I am, this is what I struggle with, and just leave it there. Overcome them. He said, I quote, typically on the other side of your greatest fear, your worst insecurity, is your greatest blessing. He also explained that there's a difference between insecurity and a difference between fear. And I'm also throwing in there's a difference between insecurity, fear, and the spirit of fear. So insecurity is basically a lie you tell yourself. You tell yourself you're not smart enough, you're not pretty enough, you're not beautiful enough, you're not handsome enough. Those are insecurities. You lie to yourselves. Majority of the time it ain't true. Fear is like an awareness. It's a protective nature that we have to make us aware of the surroundings, aware of what we're doing, aware of ourselves, aware of people around us. Now I'm throwing in there's a difference between fear and the spirit of fear. While fear in itself is just awareness of what's happening, of being aware of yourself, of who you are, how you are, your surroundings, people, the spirit of fear is a totally different thing. It's a thing where it tells you that God is not able to help you. It tells you that God is powerless. It tells you that you can't do it, you can't make it. That's the spirit of fear, and that is the thing we should never give into at all. Yeah, because God did not give us a spirit of fear. I really need to slow down. God did not give us a spirit of fear, but of love, of power, and of a sound mind. Believe that. As well as Jim Carrey said, everybody know Jim Carrey. Jim Carrey said, the need for acceptance can make us invisible. And that's true. If you're trying to appeal to everybody in your circle, everybody in your life, everybody around you, even in networking, sometimes we try to, I don't know what it is. We try to put on this facade, this image, not saying that you're not supposed to act professional, but there's a way in which you can act professional, you can adapt to your surroundings and not adjust, not change who you are completely and misleading people. Alright, so I therefore say to you, and I say to myself, I say to you, I say to myself, I say to us, we all have gifts, but are we sharing them? Because our gifts, somebody is depending on it. Whatever I'm doing, I hope and I pray and I know that there's somebody listening out there that's encouraged. And I know that the person that's being encouraged, even though I know that the person who is even listening to me, they too have gifts, and they have gifts to share for somebody else that needs it. But are we sharing our gift properly, successfully, efficiently? Are we sharing it? We have value. We have value. So right now, right here, the last thing I'm going to say to you, will we see the value in ourselves and stop seeking validation from everybody around us and not from ourselves? So guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you did, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you're new to my channel, and turn those notifications on, because further on from here it's all about good content, quality content, and I got you. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Anyway. Anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed this episode, and comment below what you thought about what I just said. If there's any questions, don't be afraid to leave them below. I'm willing to answer them. It doesn't matter. And if I don't know, I will tell you that I don't know, or I'll get back to you. One of the two. But let me know what your thoughts are on my video. And if you don't follow me on my socials. I post there almost every day. Yeah, I post on my story every day. Every day, guys. Every day. Yeah. So follow me on my socials. I keep forgetting to say that at the beginning, but whatever. You know, your girl is your girl. What's good? Peace out, guys.